Phenomenal podcast. Not only do we have my lovely, beautiful, sweetheart wife with us to answer your questions, but we have the legend, the one and only Todd Mansur joining us today on the show. Gang, today is Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance Thursday. We always talk about Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance. We'll stop the show in the middle and talk about it a little bit as we get going here. But thank you very much, Larry and the boys over at Pacific Sport Fishing Alliance, for being a sponsor of our Thursday show. Gang, we have big news to announce today. We are going live tonight.
Yes, I can't
Lobster
wait.
fishing again in Long Beach Harbor with Justin Botrell, Bowline Sport Fishing. Joaquin from Promar is going to be on the boat with him tonight, and they're going to have giveaways. They're probably going to give away stuff to the audience. They're going to give away stuff to the 4 people that were lucky enough to get to go on the trip.
Oh, how exciting.
Our good friend, our buddy, our pal, Mike Lewis is going tonight.
That's right.
We're very excited. Kelly and Jamie will be watching Mike closely to make sure he doesn't make any horrible mistakes.
We'll let him know if he does make a mistake. We're going to be able to let him know right away.
This live on the water fishing lobster hoop netting thing is unbelievably going absolutely crazy. We had 10,000 plus watched minutes last Thursday night when we did this.
That many?
That's more than
I didn't know that.
CNN gets in a month. And we had that in a 3-hour period during this hoop netting thing. It's incredible, gang. People are way into it.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for me. A lot of our members that they were on, watching the live show and we were messaging each other during the show. It was just so cool. It was like we were all together, but we weren't,
Gang, you don't want to miss it. I know a lot of you are into watching kneel down sports, but I'm telling you, this is something you can actually watch and understand and appreciate it. And those of you that are trying to learn how to do this hoop net thing, Justin kind of breaks it all down. He answers all your questions as he's out there on the water going live. We're hoping that we can get our good friend Todd Mansur, now that he's got a Starlink on his boat, we can get him to start going live from out on the water when he's catching all the millions of beautiful fish. But Todd has some big news. So without any further ado, honey, we're going to bring in the great Todd Mansur. Now, Todd, he's kind of shy. He usually doesn't have a lot to talk about. So we'll see if we can bring him out of his shell today.
Todd married us.
Yeah, I hate talking unless it's all the time. Hi, guys. How you doing today? It's great to see you.
Great to see
Kelly,
you.
You look wonderful.
Thank you, Todd. Same to you. You look great. You always do, though. Do you remember back in the day when I used to say Todd Mansur for president? Do you remember that?
Well, maybe mayor. I don't know about president.
Todd Mansur for president. You look great. We're happy to have you today.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's exciting today. So we're at the Balboa Boatyard in Newport Beach. And I'm actually up here in Pat Warner's office. And we're getting ready to haul out one of the beautiful boats that I manage. And it's going to be coming out of the water here, maybe during the show. Right now, they've actually got a boat in the ways. So if you guys don't understand how this all works, for years, shipyards use these types of ways to get the boats out of the water. They're actually very safe for old wood boats because there's no straps, even though travel lifts are amazing. And in small capacities, you can actually see this boat's being lifted out of the water as we speak. So in small capacities, you can actually get a boat out of the water, and we use these rails that are down here on the deck here, down on the ground, and we can maneuver the boats around on the rails. There's different tracks that they can be moved around. So when you have a smaller yard and you don't have the room to move a travel lift around, these yards work really well. And I've been coming here to the Balboa Boatyard since I was about 15 years old. Now, to tell you how long that is, I'm getting pretty close to 60. So I've been coming here my whole life. And I'll keep coming here because the service is amazing. Pat's amazing. The guys that are working on my boats are amazing. And the turnaround time is always top notch. We're not going to be ever put on a back burner here. So exciting stuff, Dave. So what's new in you guys' world here? You guys have just been absolutely amazing. I love watching Justin lobster fishing. That hoop net fishing, isn't it just amazing, you guys?
It's
so fun. Kelly and I, we just turn off everything and we're mesmerized. The other night we watched it for 3 hours. I was fishing the Bisbees with Cubby and I was dead ass tired, but I got so into watching it that at 10:30 at night, I was still watching Justin, and he pulled up that. He guaranteed us he was going to get a big lobster, and the night went on and on and on, and then finally, the second to the last hoop, here comes this 10-pound lobster over the rail.
Oh, that was awesome.
It's incredible, and it's live, so it's hard to manipulate it when it's live.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely no editing. It is what it is. It's funny because, we did a lot of lobster fishing back when Ralph Brandy was alive, and I miss him so much. And we used to head over to Catalina and fish there a lot for lobster. And if I had a bad night, everybody on the boat would tell me I should have called Dave first.
Oh.
That was the big tease.
The whole night we were talking anyway.
The whole night we were talking anyways, every single time. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's funny because lobster fishing, or hoop netting, I should say, is more than just going out and hoping to come home with a bag full of lobsters for dinner. Because if that was the purpose, you could just go buy them. I mean, but it's the experience. It's everything you get to see in the net, the moray eel, the stone crabs, the spider crabs, the lobsters, the never knowing excitement, and being out there in the dark at night and barbecuing burgers and just having a good time. It's about the experience of hoop netting. Look at that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Hey, Kelly girl, tell them about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on now.
That's Kelly girl's world record lobster, you guys that haven't ever seen it before.
That's just what it looked like. That's how it, when it was pulled up, that's what it looked like.
Didn't it scare the heck out of you?
Yes, absolutely. I was terrified.
That's just incredible.
18 3/4 pounds, gang. And when Todd's telling you it's all about you don't know what's going to come up
That's
in the
the
net.
best part. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. Every time you pull the net, it's a surprise. You just never know. And it's so
That is so cool.
There are times when you don't get anything, and that's okay. If that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But boy, you never know what you're going to pull up. So that's a lot of fun.
Okay. And Todd, on this show on Thursdays, we take questions from the audience. And gang, if you have anything, like I told you yesterday, if you have any questions about you want to buy a boat, you need something done on your boat, you need something fixed on your boat, you need to get into a shipyard, it is absolutely amazing. The doors, I mean, I can get some doors open, but I don't get doors open like Todd does. Even Todd was able to get my skiff fixed that I couldn't get fixed from anybody. I got ripped off by a Facebook guy big time. But Todd, people can text in questions. They can text them into my phone at 949-374-0786. And we answer questions as we go. And Todd, if they start going with your boat to launch it, we'll just stop for a minute. You can describe what's going on. But we have
I may have to go start it up in a minute here. I'm wondering if they're going to pull it around. It looks like they're just going to. I think they're just going to hand line it. So
yeah, they're the best.
That's okay.
Around, it's better that way anyway.
Oh, it's amazing how they can shuffle boats around without even starting one up here. And taking care of your investment is their priority. These guys do a great job.
It's better for them to pull it because you're kind of not very good at driving anyway.
Yeah. I've only driven one or two. So this is, people ask me all the time, how long you been doing it? And I ask them, well, counting today? And they say, I don't know, since I was born.
Yeah, exactly.
With Dave's dad and my dad.
Yeah,
running off the pier. Yeah. No, I've been doing it for a long time. So I've like you were saying, I do have the ability to get a lot of stuff done for people that are looking for help with their boats. We have a company called Mansur Marine, and with Mansur Marine, I'm a management operation priority. Mostly. So I try to make that my priority. So I manage several boats for wonderful families. And I have room for a few more, but basically we do monthly audits of your vessel, ball valves, build switches, batteries, run your mains, run your auxiliaries, put a load on, check your air conditioner. Sometimes people haven't been down to their boats in a couple of months. We make sure that all their heads are working, make sure their fresh water's topped off, check their dock lines, anything and everything to make sure the integrity of the boat is always in top shape and ready to go, so that when they're out on the water, they don't have to worry about anything. I worry about it. I make sure that everything's ready to go at all times. And if there's a service needed, if they need a captain, they need me, if they need work done, then we have the network and the sources to get these things done as quickly as possible without being ghosted. Dave, you just mentioned it. It took forever to get your center console, your Wellcraft 21 running, and then I got it running, and I think I had it done in like 2 days. So sometimes, and it's not you. You just because you have the same ability I do, Dave. You have an amazing network, and I know that if you would have gone through the channels that I went through, you would have gone the same way. But for a lot of people, they don't have these channels. They don't know how to get to these different types of mechanics and shipyards and get a phone call back, get the technician on the boat, where we do. So if you call me, if I'm to be the guy that's managing your boat, we're going to get everything done. We're going to get it done in a timely fashion. No ghosting. Everything's going to be top shape.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, we got a handful of questions coming in. My beautiful wife, Kelly, reads the questions. If you have a question for me, Todd, or Kelly, go right. Okay, I'm going to read the questions today.
Can I, Todd, I don't know, maybe you were going to talk about this later, but you're on top of all of that. That's a lot. And that's also all those little things that boat owners don't want to do is what you do.
Right.
You also sell vessels, correct?
Yeah. So I've recently started working with John McCarty at McCarty Yacht Group as one of their salesmen. I have a couple of boats already listed under my name with McCarty Yacht Group, and I have a couple of buyers that I'm helping trying to find that dream boat right now as we speak. So that has been a goal of mine for a long time, is to get into the yacht sales and broker industry. I think with the amount of knowledge that I have, and not only so many different vessels and being around it for so long, my fishing experience, but then I have the personality that has allowed me through my life to get to know a lot of people, and so and in a good way, and so being in that situation, I think it benefits buyers and sellers to use me as their salesman or use me as their listing agent to help move or buy their new boat because of the amount of experience I have. I'm going to make sure that you get in the boat that you're in love with and that fits you right. And if you're selling your boat, I'm going to make sure that we get the best value we can out of it, and I'm going to show it well for you. And check this out, guys, right now. So here comes the Viking. Can you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
So this is a Bad Company Edition Viking. And this is the boat that I manage for a wonderful family. And we're going to do some bottom paint. We're going to do underwater light repair. One of the Lumishore underwater lights is malfunctioning. You got a little water in the lens, so we'll replace that. We're going to probably put some prop speed on the props. I'm sure they're ready for that. We're going to repaint the brow because the brow's got a little bit of sun damage. So if you have a black brow on your boat, know that after a few years, that's probably going to get some sun damage, and if you stay up on it, you can avoid having to repaint it. This one unfortunately came from Florida with already having some pretty bad sun damage, so Gustavo is going to repaint this brow, and that's going to come out just absolutely fantastic because he's an amazing painter. We're fixing a cable master. We're restoring the tackle center. We've got a little bit of a list going here, and we'll probably have this boat done in a work week and back in the water and back ready for the owner to use it, go to Catalina, have a good time. The weather's like summer here right now. And so it's pretty cool how we do this, how the waves work. So in a few minutes, they're going to fit this boat with a basically an underwater trailer. They're going to lower the waves and they're going to pull this boat out of the water. And then we'll walk over there and check it out.
So kind of keep your camera on that as they're doing it, and we're going to answer a few questions. People can watch that going on while we answer a few questions. So our good friend John Stanley wants to know, is there ever any concerts down here in Cabo? And yeah, they have some concerts. They used to have a lot before the whole pandemic thing happened. But Abe, you want to know, who would I like to see down here, and who would you like to see?
Well, I would like to see the Eagles, all the original members though, but which isn't possible
That's
now.
going to be
But
tough.
they were actually,
Yeah, minus Glenn Fry. Yeah.
yes, they were actually
Rest in
supposed
peace.
to play here right before the pandemic. Do you remember that?
Oh,
they were
yeah.
going to be here.
They're
And
going to play on the beach down here.
yeah,
It's going to be incredible.
but then they ended up
just,
canceling it. So yeah, but
we were just going to park the boat out in front and watch it because they can't block off the water.
the tickets to get to the event were outrageous. So
yeah, they're like $3,000 a ticket.
yeah, but
Wow.
The Aerosmith. I love Steven Tyler as my man. I got a man crush on that dude. I'm the weirdo. But
I did something that I never do. I bought tickets for next year to go see Tyler Childers because I knew it would be sold out. I never do that. I'm a spontaneous person, but buying something that I can't use for a year,
yeah,
that's going to be a good concert. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt, Dave.
Okay, our friend Tim Ogilvie is a very lifetime member of the website. Todd, he has a question for you. He stores his boat at home. Is it okay to have the motor up all the way like you do when you're traveling on the road, or should he store it with the motor in the driving position?
So our motors these days are designed to be stored with the motor in the up position. It doesn't hurt them, but it puts a little bit of extra weight on the trim motor. So make sure that you have a locking mechanism and take the weight off of that. So when you have the motor in the upright position, you're going to look behind the motor and there's going to be a little latch that you can fold out. And then you're going to take the pressure off the ram by just allowing that motor to come down and rest on the lock. So then that motor can store just fine. But one thing that I try to tell people is if you're going to store an older outboard that does not have electronic fuel injections, make sure you run the fuel out of it. In fact, it's best to run the fuel out of them anyways if you're going to store them for any length of time, because that fuel will varnish in there. And if you're leaving the boat in the upright position for a long period of time, you're going to end up, especially with old carbureted motors, you're going to end up with issues. So run the fuel out of them and then store them how you like it.
And what Todd means by that, gang, is there's got to be a shutoff for your fuel. So even if you have 30, 40 gallons in your tank, there should be a way to shut the fuel coming to your motor. You shut the fuel off to your motor and then run the engine till there's no more fuel in it. We do the same thing with our generator down here. Our generator saves our life down here, but we never store the generator when it's got fuel in the carbs or when it's got fuel in the injectors, because like Todd said, it'll varnish, it'll cause all kinds of problems. So we just run it dry. You're going to do the same thing with your boat, Tim. Somehow, some way, you've got to be able to shut the fuel going to your engine off. And once you do that, then start the boat, let it run till it just stops running. Then it's done. Then you can store it and everything will be fine. Todd, I know you've talked with this gentleman before. Darren, you met him when we were all down at SeaWorld when Kelly Girl and I flew up for that benefit.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Darren has a question. He has a 22-foot boat, but he wants to upgrade. What would be the minimum size you should start looking for to comfortably sleep for overnighters to Catalina?
So if you're not looking for a day boat, if you're looking for an actual overnight boat, you want to look at something that's going to be 35 or greater. How many family members?
4.
See, right now you see this boat behind me here. This is a 47 Viking. This is a nice boat for 4 people. However, it's still kind of a day boat. So you have to kind of look at what you're willing to, snuggle into. Some of the living quarters can be bunks or B-berth. And if you're looking for total comfort, you want to start looking at something in that 40 to 45 foot range to start gaining some more comfort and have a nice salon, be able to sit out, watch the TV, have a nice galley. But if you're just looking to snuggle up and get out of the weather, call me. There's a lot of options, but I would start at like 35 to 40 feet minimum for a family of 4. Otherwise, you guys are going to be sleeping on the floor, and life's too short to sleep on the floor.
Yeah, what I would say was 35-foot Cabo fly bridge, no expresses. Me and Todd had this conversation last night. Expresses.
I was laughing in the background last night. You guys are funny.
Expresses. Terrible.
It's got to be a boat you fall in love with, and we can go and test drive all sorts of boats and look at what makes sense for the buyer, for the owner, and to make sure that they're comfortable. And there are so many different options these days. I mean, have you guys seen my son's 53-foot HCB? Holy cow! With quad 600 Mercuries, it does 70 knots. Of course, he doesn't own it. He's just the captain, and that's the tender to their 80-foot Bertram that he operates. But that thing actually has some pretty nice accommodations below deck. I was amazed. But there's other options too. Like there's some really neat Pursuits, and there's some really neat Grady Whites. There's some stuff where you can snuggle up downstairs and spend the night, but it's not going to be luxury. It's going to be camping.
Right. You're absolutely right. But it's all about, here's something that I wanted to say is when I was selling boats, Kelly Girl sold boats for years. The last thing that these other salespeople want to see is when Todd or I walk up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because now there's no hide the ball. There's no baloney in you. You don't want to go into these things. Listen. I'm not trying to put down anybody. I know there's a lot of good salespeople in the world, but there's very few that have been on boats their whole lives. Do you want to go look at a boat with a guy that's hands are super soft like Kelly Girls, or do you want to go look at a boat with a guy like Todd or me that's been on the water our whole lives? Our hands are like leather because we've been in and out of the boat, up and down. That's why you want to go with Todd when you want to go look at boats. They can't hide the ball.
No, not going to hide anything. We're going to survey it while we look at it. We're going to look at every aspect. We're going to look for any obvious signs of neglect. We're going to make sure the boat was well taken care of, and most importantly, has a good power system. Because I'm all about motors. Power systems are everything. Having access, being able to get parts, knowing what the problems were with the engines in the past, knowing the model of the engine and all the problems that they may or may not have had, they're important to me. And when I'm selling a boat to somebody, I'm going to let them know, how important the power systems are, because the last thing you want to have is an engine where you're waiting for somebody to show up and fix it. You want something that's, if it does have a problem, it's easy to fix, but you most importantly want to find a boat with power systems that is very, very efficient and non-problematic.
Right, absolutely. And bringing Todd in to look at it, that's going to take away all that guesswork. You're not going to be freaking out going, hey, I don't know if this is the right boat or not. What I'm trying to find is Pacific Sport. Yep. Okay, gang, listen, Todd and I are going to talk about something near and dear to our heart. Fishing in the mangroves and Lopez Mateos up in Mag Bay. It's something that most of you will never experience. And Todd will back me up on this. It is definitely a bucket list trip, bucket list opportunity. Listen, Larry and his guys are down there right now. They just got their Parker put into position at Lopez Mateos. They're ready to take you fishing. It's an easy flight. You fly into Loretto. They pick you up at the Loretto airport, drive you over the hill. Todd, if you hadn't got to experience going fishing in the mangroves, wouldn't you feel left out in life? Because it's an absolute.
Oh, it used to kill me until I finally got to do it, hearing the reports of everybody fishing different sections from Devil's Bend all the way up to Lopez Mateo, and not being able to experience it. Now I can say that not only have I experienced it, but I've taken boats up to 65 foot all the way up from Boca de Soledad through all of the mangroves and down into San Carlos and the opposite way. And it's just an absolute amazing fishery, from snook to corvina to spotted bay bass. I've caught African pompano in there, a bunch of different types of grouper, snappers. But I think one of my favorite fish in there, because I've caught everything in there, but I love those giant golden trevally that are in there. Man, do they pull hard, and they're just so beautiful. But there's no place like it. It's kind of like the Jungle Cruise ride at Disneyland when you get in there. It's like, holy cow, I can't believe that I'm actually here doing this and fishing in this type of atmosphere. And wow, what a fishery. Still today, a great fishery.
And you got an opportunity, gang. If you're afraid, if you don't know, scared of Mexico, well, that's ridiculous to be afraid of Mexico because it's not California. So don't be afraid. And you can jump on there, grab that QR code. Larry's got a great package set up for you. He's got some available dates the week of Thanksgiving. If you have nothing to do for Thanksgiving, you come down and fish with Larry and the boys in Lopez Mateos. You guys have seen my videos. I also edited a whole bunch of new videos that are going to be coming out this week of fishing in the mangroves. It's absolutely incredible. I want you all to have a chance. Just grab that QR code right now and give Larry a call and go check out all the great things they have going on up there at Lopez Mateos. Also, he has the lodge in Alaska. Kelly and I, we're going to be up there fishing in Alaska in September. And you guys are going to have an opportunity to come fish with Kelly Girl and I. We're going to Alaska. Larry's already got it set up. We'll be up there with him. This year, we were supposed to go to this thing, but we got people coming down for Thanksgiving. We're not going to be able to go fish Lopez Mateos for Thanksgiving. I apologize for that, Larry, but we're definitely coming up to Alaska. Kelly Girl and I are super excited about it, right, babe?
Right, very excited.
And you're going to get
How
an
exciting.
opportunity to fish with us in Alaska, but do not go with Larry. It's going to be insane. Lopez Mateos, the mangroves, like Todd said, are incredible. Grab that QR code, gang. I'm going to pull it down right now so we can keep talking. What's going on with the boat? Is it coming out of the water?
They're getting ready. So, guys, what they do, so if you've never seen this done, so with literally an L-shaped bar, they've gone and these guys have been doing this their whole life. And they've taken this and they've felt the bottom of the boat and they've marked where every transducer is, where every through hole is, where every squid screen is, where the shafts are, where the struts are. And now they're building a trailer basically, and they're using all sorts of straps and a strap wrench to pull these things all together, or a strap tool to pull all these blocks together to get the exact right height of how this boat is going to sit on its own keel. And then they're going to lower the waves into the water, and just like a perfect trailer, it's going to come out of the water here pretty soon. So they're just about ready, getting all the blocks ready. Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
Okay, Todd, this guy just asked a question. How come sport boats and yachts don't put artificial kelp patties out in the ocean so they can go fishing?
Well, in Southern California, there's been a few guys, and I've been one of them, where we've tried it. Shano put one out years ago that worked really good back in I want to say it was early 90s, like 92. We had a really warm water year. But believe it or not, there's more of them out there than you think of. Guys will go out there and they'll personally put out a fad or a fish, a tracking device underwater to where you don't see it, and they'll mark it with maybe a little marker, a little buoy, or a little water bottle or something, and they keep everything that they have on that fad underwater so that everybody can't see it. It will attract everything, can't get run over by a ship, can't get run over by a boat. It's all underwater. But if you understand the way that our conditions are in Southern California, if you didn't put a beacon on it and you just put something floating out there, say you just made this, wood pallet looking floating kelp patty and threw it out there, the way it would move around would actually blow your mind. And so they move in, they move out, they move down, they move up. We have these what look like high and low pressure counterclockwise and clockwise swirls going on by the way we're influenced by countercurrents and prevailing currents as they come in to the Gulf of Catalina. So going and just throwing something out there, it's just amazing at how much it moves around. So the guys that have done it and have had a little bit of success with it have anchored stuff to the bottom that they can then go and retrieve later, but they can find it with their GPS because they'll put a little marker on them. But yeah, that's about the only effort we've put into trying to do that because of the way things move around so much here.
And then also, gang, what you don't understand is it's a liability. So let's say Todd and I went out and put 15 pallets, we sewed them together and we put them out on the water and we dropped it out there. Now when a boat runs over that, Todd and I are in big trouble.
Right.
So you can't just go, first of all, it's California. So you can't do anything in California. We know that. But if you did do something like that, the underwater, the fads that Todd's talking about, only only the guy that put it there and God knows it's there. But if you put something that's actually floating on the surface, they're going to look for you. You know how it is in California. They want to sue you for everything. So they're going to see that. They're going to drive by it. And they're going to come back in and they're going to say it scratched their paint. There's just too much liability. That's why we've never done it as sport boat operators. Todd and I ran sport boats for a very, very long time. Believe me, it would have been really cool if we could have just thrown a bunch of palm leaves and pallets out there and gone out there and caught Dorado and yellowtail every day. But it doesn't work like that. And the guys that do plant fads put them 30, 40, 50, 60 feet underwater. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Dave. And you've hit it right on the stone. I mean, we're worried about having, the cap of our water bottle flow over into the water here in California, as we should be. And so we're probably better off not putting anything in the water. But, I don't like telling stories, and I talking is like trying to pull teeth for me. So I'm going to try to get this out. I'm going to tell you a quick story about a buoy, about fishing a buoy. So in 2007, I was down in Mazatlan, and the Mazatlan Aries fleet had a captain down there on the Aries 5 named Martine. And Martine and I became great friends because I would bring him anything he needed when I came down to Mazatlan at the El Cid tournament. I'd bring him lures and hooks and leaders and anything he needed because it was so hard to access that stuff down there. I get down there and he goes, Todd, hey, just so you know, there's a buoy at 49 miles. And he's like, that way. And I'm like, do you have numbers, Martine? He's like, no. It's 49 miles that way. And I'm like, 49. The grid for the tournament where we're going to fish is 50 miles. But he's like, no, you got to go. It's 49 miles that way. I'm like, I'll never find it. So anyways, me and Ralphie and my son Shane and Chris Lane, we take off, and I'm in the gyros. Just I went that way, and sure enough, I see a couple birds up off the horizon, and I'm like, this has got to be it. And then I see a few more birds, and then pretty soon it was like they were blacking out the sun. It was just absolutely unbelievable, and you could see this, foam block floating on the surface. And I had Stevie Torres on the boat with me. I had TV with me. So we got in there and we decided, we knew live bait fishing, it was just going to be wide open for a couple of blue marlin, maybe a couple blacks. So we wanted to just kind of see what the perimeter was like and put some lures out. And we got the first lure out, and that was immediately eaten by a 350-pound blue. And by the end of the day, we had 17 bites, and we released 13 blue marlin before Cammy Garnier found me. And Cammy, I hope you're watching because I love you. He's a great guy. He's probably watching the show. He was running the C-band, and I see his tower way over in the horizon. I'm like, oh, we stayed too long. Somebody found us. And so Cammy came in, and he got a couple. It was the best blue marlin fishing I'd ever seen in my life off a buoy, 49 miles that way. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Anyway, it's a pretty neat day.
I'm going to tell a story then. Kelly's never heard this story. Todd and I fishing one of the last tournaments in California, marlin tournaments, okay? I never fished with Todd as far as the way he fished in tournaments. He was very, very good at what he did, but also he had a pair of gyro stabilizing binoculars when most of us didn't even know what that meant. And so we're sitting side by side in the tower, and he's looking for marlin. And Todd has some of the best eyes in the industry, gang. And he goes, I got one. And I flew down from the tower, and I'm on the bow with my mackerel ready to throw it. And he's trying to talk to me, and he's like, hey, do you got it yet? Do you got it? I'm like, what are you saying? He's all, where in the hell are you? And I'm on the bow. He goes, the thing's 4 miles away. Oh, I
go, don't leave until you got it, dude, so I can take my eyes off it with my glasses. That was the funniest day ever. I remember that. Yep.
Oh my God.
That was fun. That was a good day.
Marlin's tail 4 miles away in his gyro stabilizing binoculars. If you think about that, that's like looking for a pencil in the middle of an alfalfa field.
That might have been a little exaggerated on the length, but I did find a swordfish that we actually did harpoon in 2003 at the west end of Catalina in slick grease conditions at 3.19 miles. So that's kind of like finding your shoe finning at 3.19 miles away.
That's how much it's out of the water, gang.
Wow.
That's how much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and we ended, Jeff Magny was my harpooner, and he missed it on the first go, and it came back up again, and we got it. But I couldn't believe how far it. So my track line where I turned from was 3.19 miles. So it might even have been another tenth or something from that. But yeah, the gyro binoculars. By the way, guys, if you're not using gyros and you're out on the water spotting looking for anything, you're missing out. It's great to have a good pair of binoculars. The Fujinons, the Zeiss, they're all great binoculars. I've been in glasses so long that I literally have sunburned eyes, trigiums, stigmatisms, and these crazy rings around my eyes. At one point, we were spending about 1,800 hours a year in the glassing. That's how much I was spending looking through the binoculars. But if you don't have a pair of gyros, you got to go out and get some. My good buddy Jimmy Kingsmill, he'll tell you a lot about the Frasers. Frasers are a great way to get a good optic and get out there and look on the water for marlin, for swordfish, for bird schools, for dolphin. It's just a great piece of equipment. Fujinon makes a great product, and then you can get some cheaper Fujinons for about $1,100. That'll get you. I think they're about $1,300 now, but they'll get you looking stabilized, but they're not true gyros. They're just digital stabilized, but they work really well, and they're very successful.
Well, Todd, Jimmy's been on the show. Jimmy's going to be on the show again. And what Jimmy says is if you don't have a good pair of gyro stabilizing binoculars, gang, he just broke it down perfect. He just summed it up great. He said, if you don't have those and you're offshore fishing, you are definitely fishing for boats. That's what you're doing, whether you want to admit it to anyone or not. If you don't have a good pair of binoculars, you're spending your day trying to figure out if Todd Mansur on the boardroom stopped, if Dave over there on the Wild Sack stopped, if the Ocean Odyssey stopped. That's how you spend your day offshore, which is kind of silly when it's $7 a gallon for gas now. That's two trips. You could have got a good pair of gyro stabilizing binoculars.
Absolutely. And why do you want to be out there fishing for boats? They've already caught what they're going to catch. You need to go catch what you're finding, what you're looking for. I love that. Yep. If you don't have gyros, you're looking at boats.
Yep, and that's what Jimmy says all the time, and it's so true. And I have that conversation with our members all the time. Do you have a good pair of binoculars? No. Did you catch anything? No. The 3 boats we fished by didn't catch anything either. I'm like, what?
Because the sport boat that they all stopped on left. Because he caught them all.
They're all set there catching nothing. I'm like, I can't set for 2 minutes catching nothing. I don't know how you guys do it all day catching nothing. It's pretty crazy.
Well, it's because you and I grew up with 120 eyeballs burning the back of our head going, hey, are they going to bite yet? Come on, Skipper. Ain't no big ones live here. Take us where the big ones live.
How much longer? How much longer? But you just got into this sales thing, selling yachts for a living. My wife did it for 11 years down in Newport. What suggestion do you have for Todd to help him out?
Oh, gosh.
When you talk to these people, it's going to be crazy. Kelly talked to everybody, did all the paperwork.
Todd doesn't need any advice.
From
Todd,
Kelly, girl?
You got this right. No, you're way ahead of any. Yeah, Todd, you're good. You're good.
Thank you, Kelly.
No, really.
I'm super excited about it, and we're gonna get John McCarty on the show. Johnny's been in the industry forever. He owns McCarty Yacht Group. If you guys remember Fin Fever, we were the startup of the 6-pack charter boat industry. So he had Fin Fever, Joe Berian had Bongos, Tom Paterno had the Limitless, and I was on the Captain Hook, owned by Bo Boyd, and we were the ones running out and running and gunning in the old days on 6-pack boats. And now the 6-pack industry is kind of overtaken by the 4-pack industry. These guys are doing really well, and they're very successful on these Freemans and on these Parkers and all these other platforms, and giving accessibility to all these different fisheries. But Johnny Mack and I and Tom Paterno and Joe Berian, we were the only guys really out there 6-packing out of this area, in the mid 90s. And Johnny Mack is he is so knowledgeable. and we're going to get them on the show. We're going to talk about buying and selling boats. We're going to talk about the fishery, and we're going to do great things. I'm really, really proud to be with Johnny Mack, and a good friend of mine I've known for 25 plus years. And together, I think we're going to do very well at McCarty Yacht Group, and we're going to sell you guys some great boats, and we're going to get your boat sold to some great people.
Hey, I have a phenomenal question that just came through with my good buddy Tim Ogilvy, and he's asking Todd, what's your thought process on salt away that you put in that little bottle to spray your boat off? Do you think it's necessary? Is there something better? What would you use?
So salt away works great. It works really good on your tackle, by the way. So it works great if you're going to be storing rods, especially if they have roller guides. It's really great, on your reels. And if you're going to use salt away on your boat for certain things, because you're not going to use it for a long time, I understand that there's certain things that salt away is going to help. But I've always been a fan of deionized water, if I can get it, if I can access and have it on a dock. If you're a launch ramp boat, obviously you're not going to have that, but you could have it at your house. If you wash your boat with DI water, you're going to be in pretty good shape. But one thing that I do is I dry, even with DI water, I dry my entire boat. I go through with a chamois. I carry 2 chamois in my hand. Even me, who could hire a boat washer, will go and I'll chamois with my guys, and we'll make sure that the whole boat is wiped down, washed, and cleaned. If you use good boat soap and water and wash everything, you'll get the salt off. If you think that just spraying salt away is getting it off, it ain't. You got to make sure to wash it off. But salt away is a great product.
All right, good. Thank you very much for that, gang. If anybody else has a question,
I have a question for you,
yeah,
Todd.
go, baby.
So, Todd, I just bought a boat from you. Are you going to help me find a slip for it in Newport, or are you? Do you do that too? Are you going to? Can you help?
We are going to help. That's the biggest problem for buyers right now is, where am I going to put my boat? And, we only have so many slips available in California. And so I am going to help you, but I'm also going to ask you to be flexible. So we're going to look at options. We're going to look at subleases. We're going to look at, hey, can we get in a temporary slip? I know you're going to have to move me around a little bit. Then there's, the open checkbook budget where, guys can just go, buy a house with a dock. But for those that are looking for a slip, we have to be flexible. We have to understand that in the beginning, if you don't already have a dock, that we have to work at it. We're gonna work in different areas. It may not be right where you want it right away, but we're gonna get you on the list, and the squeaky wheel gets the grease. We're gonna show up to the marine office with donuts and flowers to make sure that they're happy and they know that we're waiting for that slip, and that we're willing to move from one dock to the other dock every month if they have to, until they can find us a permanent spot. But these are what you're going to have to do. It's not like it's just a plethora of open slips. We have to work. We have to be vigilant, and we're going to get you a slip.
Got it.
When you were working at Bayport, that was the biggest problem, right?
It was a big problem. So, but like Todd said, you got to be, the boat owner has to be flexible, be willing to be flexible about it. You may move, but eventually you're going to get where you want to be.
Right.
I'm bringing a boat up from Mag Bay that's going to sit in. It's going to sit in Ensenada for a little while we work things out on slips and everything else. So, there's something to be said about, the flexibility of getting a slip. So be flexible, be willing to move around a little bit, but eventually you'll get your slip.
Cool. Yeah, that's probably the number one thing, is that flexibility, because everybody wants to be in Dana Point Harbor.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Because that's the best harbor on the coast. You're in the ocean in 3 minutes from your dock.
Yep.
Y'all know that.
And we have great bait, it's a absolutely beautiful harbor, and its accessibility to getting anywhere is top notch. So.
But the thing that we've been told is forever is a 30-year waiting list. Well, now with the remodel of the harbor and everything, like Todd said, when something happens, you got to be ready to jump and go. And if you're like, you might have to put it in San Pedro. You might have to do that. You might have to put it in Ensenada. You might have to put it in the very back of San Diego, back in the Coronado Cays or something. You may have to do that until you get to your spot. But the whole key is to be ready to move when you're ready to move. And
if you're serious about buying a boat and you see a good opportunity, you got to buy that boat, and we'll get you. We'll get you somewhere. We'll find you a slip. We're gonna help you, but you also got to help us. You got to be willing to make some phone calls. You got to be willing to be on top of it. Don't expect us to do all the work, but we're going to help you with it.
Yeah, and the flexibility of moving. When Todd calls you up and says, "Okay, we got one in Newport. You got to come now." You can't say, "Well, I'll be ready to go next Saturday." No. When he says now, if you're looking for a dock, gang, that's going to be the biggest problem here. It is. Real estate in California for a dock is the biggest. Like Todd said in the beginning, it's the biggest problem. But you just got to be ready to jump. And if you're ready to jump, then it'll happen. And then all of a sudden, like Todd said a minute ago, you might have to move around a little bit. Once you're in, you're in. You got to move a little bit, but you're in. Now you're part of the thing. And whoever you're moving your boat around, they might have 15 docks in the harbor. They're already planning on your money. They don't want to get rid of you. They're going to move you from here to there, to there, to here, but you don't.
And after they've moved you a few times, you become you kind of, let's just keep him there and we can move him now. And that's kind of just how it works. And so, just be willing to work a little bit to get your position, but eventually you will. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to sell boats in California. So, and we are, and we're selling good boats. So we'll get you in a place.
And then Kelly's company that she worked for a long time had a really cool service where they took care of your boat, but they kind of lost out on that thing and they don't do that anymore. But now, Mansur Marine, you take care of a lot of different families' boats, which is kind of very important because if you don't do maintenance, when Kelly and I want to go down and use our boat, if no one's taking care of it, when we go down there and turn the generator on and it doesn't start, we're done for the weekend. That's the unique thing about Mansur Marine. You go down there and make sure the systems are all working, so when they show up on Friday, they can go use their boat, right?
Absolutely. And if they need me to drive their boat, I'll drive their boat. But I have a lot of clients that like to drive their own stuff, and they want to get down there and know that it's just all they got to do is start it. I've already checked fluids. I've done everything to make sure the boat is ready to go. So it's kind of like their car. All they got to do is get in, start it, drive it, bring it back, and park it. And then I'll take care of everything else for you. If you have something that goes wrong during the trip, I'm available 24 hours a day. You give me a call, and I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to get you, home, get you back to the slip, get your stuff fixed. So that's where I think that Mansur Marine really shines is my availability to answer your calls and to make sure that your boat is ready to go for you at all times. And like Dave said, these families, they want to go have a good time. If they go out a couple times and have a problem with their boat, we've lost them. They don't want to be in the industry. The wife doesn't want to be there anymore. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be towed home for 6 hours from vessel assist. I've been towed home from vessel assist. I went to go pick up my buddy in he was in San Clemente Island. He called me up in the middle of the night. And this is what a friend is. The definition of a friend is somebody that'll do anything for you at any hour of the night. It doesn't matter where they are. If they call you up and say, "Hey, Todd, our batteries completely took a crap and I've got new batteries at the dock. All you got to do is hop in my buddy's boat. It's full of fuel. If you drive out to San Clemente Island and bring us those batteries, you'll be back to your 3/4 day boat. No problem."
Was that friend maybe you?
Oh my gosh, gang. Oh my gosh.
That was this guy. Did he look like him?
That was probably 30 years ago. But
you were on the Tom too. Yeah, that was a good one. That'll be a story for another day. But I make sure that stuff doesn't happen. Your batteries are going to be checked. So Mansur Marine's pretty neat. So we have affordable monthly options so that your boat can be audited and taken care of. And if there's weather, if there's a storm, if there's wind, if there's anything going on to where I think your dock lines need to be checked, your boat needs to be looked at, it's being looked at. I'm looking at it. I'm walking the docks and checking every one of your boats. I'm driving to wherever I got to go. If it's Newport, Huntington, Dana Point, those are my 3 ranges. I'm going to make sure your boat is tied up safe and ready to weather the storm.
So, hey, our good friend Dave Burris wants to know, Todd, where did all that gray hair come on your face from? You seem like
isn't that crazy?
You think we'll ever go fishing together again?
We're gonna, Dave. I gave you that open invitation. When you come down here, we're going fishing. Even if we got to take the skiff out, we're going fishing. So, yeah, isn't that funny? If you guys go and watch our good friend Michael Folks Inside Sportfishing, there's some archival stuff out on YouTube, and right now on, I believe it's on Netflix or Amazon. It's Amazon Prime. And you can see me back in the days of no gray hair, catching yellowtail and yellowfin and the El Nino invasion of the early 90s. It's a pretty neat video, but now look at me.
Well, I know
I'm an old man.
We're watching Justin.
Oh, that's right.
We're watching lobster fishing tonight. But yeah, when you watch that video of you back in the 90s, if you think for a second, don't listen to Todd's voice, but look, he looks just like Shane.
Yeah,
Like Shane, you look just
absolutely.
Like back when we were young and skinny.
Yeah. Those were the good old days.
Those days.
You didn't?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, and the same thing too, I think Mansur Marine is a really good platform for the sales and brokering business, because I can give people that peace of mind that when they buy their boat, that I'm going to be there afterwards too, to make sure that everything is running right, answer any questions. And if they need me to, I'll manage that boat for them to make sure that their investment, stays in turnkey condition and that never loses any integrity.
I think that's so great. I mean, a lot of new boat owners, they buy a boat, purchase a boat from some broker or somewhere, and that once they sign and give that last payment, then that broker's or that salesperson's gone, and they don't
Right.
not really involved, and the boat owners kind of left oh God, now what do I do? And it can be scary, and there's a lot of things they don't know about, a lot of things things they should do and they're just not aware of. But so to have someone
absolutely right
for them and to walk them or help them out and just give them that peace of mind, I think that's huge.
And I think that's important in doing this is to make sure to build a relationship with somebody that you're selling a boat to or selling a boat for, because in the long run, these are going to be part of your family for a long time, because they're going to grow, they're going to buy bigger boats, or they're going to sell a boat, and you want to be part of that, that family, and make sure that they enjoy boating. There's so many people that come out here into the boating industry and have a negative time on their boat because they just don't know how to maintain them. They don't know what they're doing with them. They get caught up in the wrong weather. They get caught up in the wrong situations. They don't go to your saltwater guide and find out where to go fishing. They go out and they don't catch anything. How many people have got on your website, Dave, and said, finally, I caught a fish? So we help with all that.
Right, and that's our commitment. That's what we were taught by your dad and my dad when we were little kids. You got to follow. The thing is, in this industry, is there's very little follow through. When you meet a guy like Todd or you meet a guy like me, and my members are blown away by the availability to call me all the time, your saltwater guy, they're just blown away when they sign. First thing that happens when they sign up is I call them and I talk to them, and they're blown away by that. But then the consistency of being able to talk to my members, with 4,100 members, Kelly Girl will tell you the phone rings off the hook. But that's my commitment to the member, just like your commitment to your clients is to talk them through any problems they're having. We don't want to, you and I are invested in this industry so deeply, we don't want to lose any more boaters because they don't think there's any, or they don't think there's a follow through in the business. Kelly Girl will tell you, when she was working down there at the brokerage house, so many people would call every day with just silly little things that were wrong with their boats, and they couldn't get an answer from anybody. Mm-hmm. And it's it's kind of criminal the way that these salespeople are. As soon as that check clears, they don't answer your call anymore.
You're ghosted. Yep. They've moved on. That will not happen at McCarty Yacht Group or Mansur Marine. Go back and talking about the ability to get information from you and I through the networks that we provide. Do you remember, though, there was a day a long, long time ago that we didn't tell anybody anything, and we didn't realize how much it was hurting our industry, and we let things happen to our fishery, like marine protected areas and closures because we weren't strong as a fishing and boating community together and working together. And then we realized that to strengthen the industry, we need to make sure that everybody going out every day is having a good time and not going out catching nothing or being towed in by vessel assist, pissing off their loved ones because they spent so much money to plan that one day out on the water and it all went to hell in a handbasket.
Hold on.
Well, you and I figured this out a long time ago that we need to help the industry by giving out as much information as we can.
Yeah, hang on one second. Gang, we have a big trip tonight on Bowline Sport Fishing with Justin Boat Trail. We're going to show a quick video, Promar video, because Promar is going to be super involved in this trip tonight. I want to make sure you all watch this live, and we're going to put up this video right now of Promar.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Brian from Promar Ahi, just letting you guys know that all your Saltwater Guide members are going to get an exclusive deal from us, 20% off flash sale until 7 p.m. tomorrow. Code's going to be YSWG, and that's going to be used site-wide on all products from lobstering, hooping, crabbing, any other gear that you guys might need that we provide. Feel free to check us out. Again, the website's going to be promarahi.com, and don't forget to check out Captain Justin. He's going to be going live tonight, lobstering, hooping, doing all that stuff, showing you guys live all the action that's happening in Long Beach, California.
Hey, thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. Is that incredible, gang? That's the power of your Saltwater Guide, gang. We're doing this live show tonight. You're going to get to see all the products Brian was just talking about being used in the show. We talk about it every Tuesday on the show, but they're giving 20% off today because of this special trip we have going tonight on the Bowline Sport Fishing with Justin Boat Trail. That's a pretty incredible deal. That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
20% off. That doesn't leave a lot of margin for profit, but that's the commitment to our members, gang. Take advantage of it. Go put in the code YSWG. Let me show you the QR code real quick to Promar. I know you're busy, Todd, and I want you to show us.
No, I want you guys to see this. The boat's coming out of the water, so put up the code and then watch. We're going to be out of the water in 2 minutes.
There it is, gang.
It's coming right now.
That code's going to take you there to 10%. It's 20% off, gang. 20% off the entire order. That is pretty cool. Grab that QR code after the show. It'll be on the screen, but let's watch Todd's boat come out of the water. That's what we've been waiting for an hour here. Woo!
Isn't this cool? So here it comes, guys. So they've got everything built, everything lined up. Jose's got everything eyeballed. He's sitting over here with the controls. You can't really see Jose. Where's he at? There he is, kind of right over there behind that boat. And he's eyeballing everything to make sure everything's sitting perfectly on the ways. Right now, as they start to pull it, they're dropping wedges in to make sure that the wedges sit on the arms of the ways perfectly.
Wow.
This is an art, guys. This is a true art, getting this done right. Little by open up. He wants him to move it over a little bit. And there goes the next block. It's coming up. So it's pretty cool, guys. So, Dave, it's always been exciting to be on your show. I want to thank you and Kelly for all the help you've been giving me lately and advertising for Mansur Marine, for McCarty Yacht Group. I still have Boardroom Fishing charters, guys. I'm still operating charters at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. We had a great fishing season, but economically, we didn't see as many customers as we normally do. So if you guys are still thinking about getting out there, it looks like summer here today in November. And here it comes.
Wow.
We are. It's funny. I wear a lot of hats, don't I, Dave? I'm a charter boat captain, yacht management, yacht sales. I'm the director of education for the Graywolf Foundation. You know that as of 2023, through the Graywolf Foundation, we have raised enough money to take over 30,000 students on an ocean experience looking at whales and dolphins with no cost to the taxpayer. And I've been on every trip and on every assembly. I'm here today doing this for this wonderful family that I manage for. And when I get done, there'll be something else I'll be doing until I go to sleep tonight. So I'm a hard worker.
Yeah, nobody works harder than you, buddy. That's for damn.
And there's
sure.
Gustavo. There's my painter. Say hi, Gus.
Tell him you're talking
Dave
to
Hansen.
Hansen.
He says, all right.
That's my painter, guys. That's my fiberglass guy. That guy rebuilt the whole boat when we had that huge accident in Dana Point.
He's the best.
Gustavo
Absolutely.
is very, very, very best. He's not free. He's not
No,
free.
almost free,
But
right, Gustavo? He said almost free.
there's no one like us. He is the best. But tomorrow, gang, we got a phenomenal show. Todd, this guy's caught way more swordfish than you've even seen. He has over
Yep.
700 deep drop swordfish. This is the guy that invented the deep drop buoy gear. Jeffrey Wilson's going to be on the show tomorrow. It's going to be an epic show, and he's going to give away a secret that even Todd Mansur doesn't know about deep drop swordfish fishing.
Wow.
There's probably a lot of secrets about deep drop swordfish, and I don't know. I like sticking something in their back that they can't itch. That's my favorite way. So we're getting down to the last minute of the show here, guys. Check this out. Here's a Bad Company edition Viking coming out of the water. It is completely out of the water and almost locked in the waves here. Isn't this cool, guys? It's been a great show. Always great to see Kelly. What's that?
We're going to stay with you. We're going to go a little over.
Okay.
And Todd, while we're waiting for that thing to come out of the water, there's a bunch of people that are begging your phone number, and you haven't given it yet. They want to know how to get a hold of you.
If you want to get a hold of me, my phone number is 949-547-7748. Or you can shoot me an email at toddmansur@gmail.com. Guys, I'm easy to get a hold of. But the best way, if I'm busy, to get an immediate response is to send me a text, and I will call you back. You will not get ghosted. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
Elliot's helping us right now. He's producing this show, and he just put your number up on the screen. Thank you very much, Elliot, for helping me and Todd out. Kelly Girl really appreciates all the help you give her every day.
Absolutely.
Elliot. We can't do any of this without my good buddy Elliot. And there it is. That's Todd's number, gang. Take a picture with your phone. Do whatever you got to do to get that number. Because maybe your boat's fine today, but it won't be one day. It won't be fine. You're going to need Todd. So might as well get him in on your top 10 list on your phone, because you're going to want to call him, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yep. And here we go. Isn't this cool, guys? I want to thank Pat for letting me sit up here in his office at Balboa Boatyard. Guys, if you need a haul out, this is the place to go. I love being here. I love the guys that work here, and the fact that they get us in and get us out with quality work. There's something to be said about that. Look at that, guys. We just got it all the way out of the water. There's a 47-foot Bad Company edition.
God, Elliot, I don't know how to do that just to see that boat.
Isn't that cool?
That's wow. Look at that.
How bitchin'. That aged me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott, for giving us an hour of your time. I know you're the busiest guy in Southern California. Well, no, Elliot is, and then Todd. The two of you guys.
Hey, thank you, Elliot. By the way, that post last night, I'm sorry I messed that up. I tried to give you guys a great post, and I'm just getting used to this stuff. So, but with Elliot's help, it had a lot of traction. It was a fun video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this today. Dave, I sure enjoyed being on the show. I'm going to be on here with John Bretza next week, right?
Oh, yeah. Friday, we're going to talk about how you and John came up with the Macaira series. Real Todd was the guy.
Me and a handful of guys, Mark Mills, John Bretza. God, we had fun with the beginning stages of the Macaira, and then we went and just beat the heck out of them on the finger. I think we had 73 marlin one day with John Bretza on the boardroom, just tearing tackle apart to make sure that we could figure out every weak link. So I look forward to next Friday with John Bretza from Akuma Fishing. And guys, if you need me for anything at Mansur Marine or McCarty Yacht Group, you guys got my information.
And then, gang, real quick, Tim Ogilvy had one more question. He has eye problems, and he's wondering, what sunglasses do we wear? Kelly and I wear Costas. We love our Costa sunglasses. Todd Mansur wears Costa. If you start to look around and watch the fishing shows, 90% of the top fishermen on the planet wear Costa. Our good friend Brett McBride, his whole crew on the O Search, they all wear Costas. Costa makes a great sunglass. Tim, I would suggest the 580 glass lens for you. Keeps your eyes clean. That new King Tide, it has the wraparounds on the side, which will keep the glare out for your eyes, Tim, and help you out tremendously. You want to find a good pair that fits your face right. Costa has so many different sunglasses. Get in there and look at that. That's what most of us are wearing, and we're wearing the 580 glass. Gang, I want to thank everybody for being on the show today, watching the show. I got one thing I need everyone to do. Share this. Share it. Hit the share button on the bottom of the screen. It's easy. It's free. Those of you that enjoy this, it takes a lot to put the show together. Make sure you hit the stars. Give us some stars. Make sure you give us some tips on YouTube. We appreciate everything you all do. Do not miss the show tonight because we will be talking about it all next week. It's going to be incredible tonight and tomorrow night. There were so many people that wanted to go that now we had to break it into 2 trips. So we have a trip tonight and tomorrow night. Both are going to go live. We're going to break the internet tonight. It's going to be incredible. Last week, Todd, on Thursday night, we had 10,000 watched minutes on the live show.
Wow.
Not counting all the repeats. That was 10,000 live minutes watched on the show.
That says something right there. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're on to something. It's going to be cool when you start catching tuna when you start catching, I don't care about tuna. I hate tuna. I wish they'd all leave. When you start catching calico bass on the anchor on the boardroom and people see a multi-million-dollar yacht anchored up catching calicos and everybody with a smile on their face, you and I both know that the whole world's gone wrong. They forgot about how cool fishing is in Southern California. I've gone over, but there's nothing better than anchoring the boat and catching fish every time you throw your line in the water.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And it's the staple of our fishery in Southern California.
Yeah.
Anchoring up and catching calico bass with a smile on your face.
Yep. Love you, Todd. Thank you, everybody.